Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check waifu. Tell, is that you?
292, what's up?
This is episode 292 of Mic Check Waifu, a palindrome. As always, it's brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu is where you can get early access to the video version of this podcast. It's where you can get access to 292, the pre-show, where we do a very great discussion on what we're about to talk about in this episode right now. It's always up before this episode releases, so make sure you go to Patreon to support us at any tier to get access to that. You get access to the After Story podcast and much more. Thank you so much for supporting us. Patreon producers, couldn't do the show without you. Christian, the archivist, Rob from Dad Needs to Talk podcast, Fear, Glaze Yams, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture podcast, Explicitly, All for One Matt, Monique Williams, Simi Sensei, Frozen, Rob Stone, and last but certainly not least, our guy, T Money Fingers. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. We couldn't do it without you. Mic Check Waifu is the anime podcast is brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. CT, where we bring you seasonal topic anime discussions, deep topics, rewatches, reviews, all of the like. Speaking of, at the end of the month, we do a live stream episode. So in this particular case, that'll be March 30th. March 30th will be our live episode, which is the last episode of the month. Mark your calendars, March 30th, live episode. We are going to, we're probably going to be in the spring preview. But speaking of spring preview, I just want to get this out the way as a little rigmarole at the beginning. Next week, we will do our spring preview episode. So drop your sleepers inside the thread that will be marked as spring preview in our Discord in Rob Stone. You can drop it in the comments as you do per usual. Drop your what did I say? Drop your sleeper pick. Yeah. Drop your sleeper pick in Discord in the form titled Spring Preview 2025 Spring Anime Preview, as well as any most anticipated shows you are looking forward to for the spring. I can't wait to bring those discussions next week. Okay. Next week this week, we're starting our Fire Force Rewatch of season 1. So we're going to watch season 1 of Fire Force this week. Next week, we're going to watch Fire Force season 2 to be ready for Fire Force season 3. So we have a little grace between season 1 and season 2 before season 3 drops, which is April 2nd, I believe.
Right before my birthday.
Right. Right. So yeah, please be excited for that as we are doing that. I also want to say, if you can, okay, I don't know if we'll be able to do this too, but season 2 of Log Horizon rewatch as well. If you can, I know Fire Force is also 24 episodes, but in Log Horizon it's 25. So only if you can. Log Horizon isn't the priority, but we are going to do a review of Log Horizon as well eventually. But we're going to discuss that later in the second half of the episode with no spoilers for season 1 of Log Horizon. So please be excited for that. Okay, I think I'm done talking about that. Tell, how you feeling? Shit.
Oh, wonderful, brother.
I try to keep the intro shorter so we can get to the meat and potatoes quicker because retention, etc.
I completely understand, but I'm wonderful, bro. Doing really good in my game development and software programming class.
Great. Good to hear.
Last class, I just ended with a 95%. A little pissed off about it, but it is what it is. How you doing, Brolo?
I'm doing well myself. Streaming I picked back up streaming again, and that's been going extremely well. So shout out to everybody that's been supporting me over at twitch.tv/PoloBarnFly. Means the world to me.
You're my favorite streamer, by the way.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Yeah, it's been going great. Streaming that Monster Hunter. I've been addicted. I can't turn it off. So yeah, I'm excited about.
Can I throw something in about Monster Hunter real quick?
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like Monster Hunter is an amazing game, and let me just tell you why. I love games where I can play with people, but also games where I can just play by myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I have played Monster Hunter with literally nobody, but I have been enjoying the beauty of it by myself, man.
It's that
at my own pace, and just
it's that circle of life. Fun. It's that circle of life that Monster Hunter always did so well since I started playing it in like generations. So it's been great. It's been phenomenal. It's been a good time. Okay, so like I said, this is the anime podcast. We always start with what our episode of the week this week is. I think this is an easy one. Already got Discords. I already know mine. Tell, what was your episode of the week this week?
ReZero.
Okay. Shocked because I thought we was going to be getting consensus with this. The best episode this week between Discord and me is Honey Lemon Soda. That episode was truly spectacular. I mean, thug tears all the way through. Crystal said she shed a thug tear during that episode. We're going to bring that to spoiler talk in the second half of the show, obviously. And we're what else should we bring over there to spoiler talk?
Honey Lemon Soda, I would say, I mean, Zenshu has some stuff in it. Really, oh my goodness.
Really great.
I feel like we got some warm up for Blue Box, but let's
damn, that's some good choices too. Let's do Zenshu and Solo Leveling. Okay. And the reason why I bring Solo Leveling in, maybe this is gonna be a quick comment, so maybe we don't, it has to be like full spoilers, but there's something again that was cut out that I just don't appreciate. And I know why it was cut out, obviously. But we can talk about that there in the second half of the show. It might be quick, so we might add to the spoiler section, so just please bear with us. Okay. Now, before we start the episode proper, which is mostly going to be the discussion on Log Horizon and what we feel about it, general thoughts about everything, general wise, when it comes to Log Horizon. We had a topic last week discussing the landscape of anime. The landscape of anime conversation was talking about the short attention span when it comes to people and their media consumption in general, and how we think we can engage people with those short attention spans into anime, just to show them what anime is. In the field of view of it being extremely hard to capture people's attention nowadays because of the short attention span. So the goal is to show people anime and capture their attention span, and to bring them into anime, eventually helping them understand what anime is. That was the conversation last week of the landscape of anime. And we got a lot of, I want to say feedback, but a lot of conversation that was brought up in that. So at the beginning of the show this week, we're going to be discussing the community's thoughts on that topic. A lot of community thoughts about it. I will say this. I do want to, if it's okay, I do want to start with Rob Stones so we get a better understanding of what I mean about this whole conversation. Okay, here it is. The point about short attention spans and how it's changed media consumption is so important. I agree. A lot of shows, despite their brilliant quality, would not satisfy new viewers of any age who would try to watch them nowadays, as the way we consume media and how much of it there is has changed. If you don't have someone pestering you to watch a show, it has to grab you straight away or you move on, i.e. the hook you talked about before. In a way, anime has become a bit more like American TV, needing a strong pilot episode. The difference being that it is the audience that will move on after 1 to 3 episodes rather than the network not picking up a show. Back when there were fewer shows could stick with a show longer and grow more attached to the characters. As such, it is harder to point to a single anime, no matter how good, and say, watch this as your entry point anime in general. As your two examples of people trying Freerun, Tell recommended Cowboy Bebop is a great example. I say it's a great entry point for sci-fi fan, but for other people, it may be too slow. Equally though, I think that's why Polo saying he wouldn't use slice of life to introduce someone to anime is a bit dismissive. It may not show off the medium in a unique way, flashy animation, etc., but it can still tell a story people are interested in that can be a getaway to trying more and more anime. in a way, it ties back to the conversation about tropes and traditional stories. The right story can hook the right audience, even if it's not groundbreaking in some cases, because it is doing something that they are used to, just with a different twist.
Right.
Which makes sense. I think, and this is going to be a through line with the conversation in Discord as well, but I think the conversation is leaning more towards what we talked about before. This topic is, while pseudo similar to the one we talked about, was what would you recommend as somebody's first anime. The conversation wasn't necessarily about that. The conversation is showing somebody what anime is that'll catch their short attention spans. That's it. That was the entire conversation. So him saying, me being dismissive about using slice of life and blah, 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 blah. I get what you're saying. It would make sense if I was recommending an anime to a person for the first time. But again, that wasn't the conversation. The conversation was trying to get a hook. Trying to get that hook that'll show somebody what anime is. And dude, after the first episode of Solo Level, you damn for sure know I'm gonna recommend some slice of life, because then I feel like they understand. Oh, okay, so this is what anime is. It's an adult version of shows that can be shown in TV because it'll cost $800 billion to produce. You understand what I'm saying? So that was the initial goal of the conversation. I will say that I still think, while I love Cowboy Bebop, I absolutely love Free Run, favorite shows of all time, it will be way too hard to recommend that for anybody watching it first, because you watch that first episode. It's just like you said at the beginning of this point, it's just like American TV. If that pilot don't hook you, you're getting canceled by ABC. You know what I'm saying? Like, ABC would not pick you up for 3, 4, 5 episodes if it's not working out within the first episode.
And I would even like to add, so since I've had time to kind of ponder on this topic, I saw a post, and it was talking about how, like, a lot of people don't even have cable. They have a 55-inch Roku TV, blah, 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 or 55-inch TV with Roku or whatever, right? So a lot of people don't have cable. And I can almost prove this point by just saying this right here, right? Inuyasha. What's the most nostalgic and memorable thing that you have about Inuyasha right now? The credits, right? Without that, a lot of people wouldn't even know a lot of what's going on with Inuyasha. And I hate to say that, but like, that is part of the attention span with it, is that a lot of people don't have cable anymore. A lot of people have a ton of media at hand. So when it's so easy to jump into something, jump out of something, I can open Crunchyroll and there's literally 1,000 anime to pick from. I do need something that's going to grab my attention. And it almost brings me to the point to like agree with you a little bit more that, yeah, a lot of times slice of life is just going to be really hard to get people into. You need something that's going to be flashy. And if it's going to be slice of life, it has to be flashy, has to be top tier sound design, has to be top tier everything. You know what I mean? And that does kind of, I would say, I'm not trying to be dismissive, because yeah, you can definitely bring some stuff that'll, like, A Silent Voice to me is one of the best movies I've watched ever, especially in the slice of life realm.
One of my favorites.
Could I recommend that to everybody? I would probably say no. I could probably recommend it to my mom and blow her mind. Like, look, Ma, I guarantee if you watch this, you'll love anime going forward. And I would probably be right. But if I'm recommending it to one of Polo and I's regular friends that we play games with or something, they probably not going to quite jump on that one specifically. And majority of people probably won't, because that's not going to be the main field. While it is a growing entertainment field for anime, I don't think it's going to be the main one that grabs attention.
Yeah, like, it's so crazy because, again, the conversation is based off the attention span. Again, I can recommend 1,000 slice of life anime for somebody's first anime, for somebody coming up to me and say, hey, I want to get into anime. What do you recommend? It could be I could give you probably, and this is not a over exaggeration, probably 300 slice of life anime that I could recommend to you that will be a great choice. That's not, I believe it. That would be the conversation. The conversation here is, what is somebody who's never seen anime, and me as an anime podcaster say, hey, I do anime podcasting. Try this out and see if it could grab you. Okay. that's how I guess that's how we should have worded it when we had the conversation, because again, it just kind of gravitated towards more of what's going to be the first anime you would recommend to somebody. You know what I'm saying? That kind of where the conversation fell into. But I think just having somebody interested in anime and wanting to know what their first anime should be versus trying to grab somebody's attention span with anime is a lot different. And I think the best way, I'm going to say the only way, because the only way is being a little too selective, I guess, would be something like Demon Slayer, something like Solo Leveling. While again, they are flashy in animation wise, right? Whatever. Skip past that. It's that story hook that both of those first episodes have that I think will grab people that like, oh shit, this is what this is. All right, now I'm ready to see what more is. And just after the first episode, if you don't watch no more Solo Leveling, if you don't watch no more Demon Slayer, I'm throwing a slice of life at you now that you're like, oh, this is what anime is. I'm liking this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now I can give you the first slice of life or your first anime you should watch to completion. Because again, you know I'm not the shonen guy. I'm not the action guy. That's not my thing. I'm just not going to be out here like, watch Dragon Ball Z or whatever. No, I'm trying to get that hook first, so then you can come back and listen to Mike Check and be like, oh, this shit is deeper than I thought. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Let's get into some of the Discord rebuttals, I should say.
Discord discourse.
I'm gonna start with Crystal, and then you can go to the next one. She says, I appreciate discussions like this because I am extremely removed from the ins and outs of the anime space. I watch what I like and honestly only talk to this group, maybe a few people on Blue Sky, but that's rare. I didn't notice. That was something else. But what she's referring to is your part of last week's topic, which was what was it? The dragon? Was it the super? No, was it? What was it? the Super Saiyan 4 canon, non-canon conversation. Yeah. So Crystal just stating that she appreciates us having those conversations as well because she's so far removed from it, just to kind of get a view of what's going on. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I do too. Even though it seemed like I'm dismissive of that. Like it definitely seems like I'm dismissive of that because I just don't care about Dragon Ball Z whatsoever anymore. Unfortunately, even though it was my first foray into this anime space, I can't care about those conversations either because they're everywhere. That's everything that people want to talk about because guess what? It grabs them, it hooks them. The conversation, the debates, it brings them in.
I literally just saw the Sung Jin Woo versus Gilgamesh question reposted 3 times today. 3 different times today.
See what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the kind of conversations people want to have. That's what they want to hear on anime podcasts, I guess. And I'm kind of glad we don't, but I also think it is important that we do bring it in sometimes, like you do, which I'm so glad you do, because we would not have any of that. All for One Matt says, I'm currently listening to the podcast right now at work. Shh, don't snitch on me. I'm telling. But the reason why the anime community as a whole is hyping up Freewind was mainly because of the story. Anytime I got on Instagram or Twitter, I rarely did I see anyone talk about the action scenes as to why they love the show. So the person Polo was talking about, I don't know what that person was expecting. And again, that goes back to your topic of the conversation. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know either. I don't. Maybe he was just one of few that said it, but that's the only person I saw because again, I'm not in those anime discussions. As soon as I see an anime post, I just kind of scroll past it like fast. So when I'm doing scrolling and I see stuff like that, this one caught my attention because it had Freewind in the background. So I just so happened to stop at this one. So, but maybe you're right. Maybe people do love it, which I'm glad to see. Even this is about to sound I don't ever remember their names. I saw something from what's his name, bro? The group. They do anime content.
There's a lot of those.
I know. That's not helpful at all. What I just did. Everybody loves them. They do skits. That should help. The DreamCon people.
Oh, RDC World?
RDC World. There they go. I could not think of their names. So apologies.
Wow, okay.
Apologies. I'm sorry. I couldn't remember their names. But I even saw a post of them saying that while they appreciate Solo Leveling's beauty and action, they prefer more like Freerun. And I was taken back. I was honestly taken back. More story-based content that leads to action.
And that's cool. Reasonable. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is that, and I feel like there's a certain evolution that you get, right? You almost have to be always welcoming of newcomers, right? Mm-hmm. Because newcomers are always going to bring up what is like old or what is traditional in anime, so to speak. But those of us who have been in the anime for a long time, or we are actually in anime, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eventually, things like Freerun are going to just be stuck, right? We're gonna not stuck, but we're gonna be in love with it. And you can look at the ratings for Freerun; it surpassed,
undeniable.
Yeah, it surpassed Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, which was the highest rated for whatever reason, right? And then you got Freerun, who came up and did that and passed everything else, and then it got hate specifically because it just got rated so high, which, to reach that pinnacle means that something is quite literally amazing. And yes, even groups like RDC World that are so heavily focused on the mainstream anime, their personal interests are probably going to be way more expansive in what they talk about, because their fan base is focused on 3 things, 4 things, 5 things. But what they focus on really outside of that, and what they probably even get a bulk of their ideas from, is going to be outside of that. It's going to be removed from what the community generally likes, and they have to bring that to the forefront a little bit. Tap into it a little bit to say, hey, this is what it is. And we are just a little bit more eccentric, where we are tapping more into that and bring it to the mainstream, versus like just being mainstream and trying to bring in a little bit of the eccentric stuff.
Wow. Well said, Tel. Well said. Yeah, you're right. I never even thought about the fact that they do what they do because it's their business.
It keeps them paid.
You got to think about it as a business. If you don't think about it as a business, we do this for absolute fun. If you don't think about it as a business, then why would you, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Segregate yourself into this small corner of this big entity that is anime. The subsect of people who only discussed the more enthralling, and like you say, eccentric things that is kind of like not as mainstream. But I digress. You get what I'm trying to say is, God, I gotta. Anyway, yeah, I get it. What you just said, you open my eyes, man. Because I'm just shut off over here. I don't dive into any anime circles when it comes to those conversations, because they're all I did at the beginning of this podcast. At the beginning of this podcast, probably the first 6 months, I was in that. I was trying to have those conversations with people. You can even look at the history of our Twitter account, which was mostly ran by me, and see that I was involved in those versus conversations. I was into that, and then I thought to myself, I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right, I was even posting them on the Facebook, making Facebook polls for versus battles and stuff like that, because that got engagement. But really, those conversations get boring quickly, and while they will garner attention shortly, it's like you always have to be looking for or reaching for the new character, the new pinnacle to battle what was old. And it's like, come on, man, why are we doing this every week? It's wild.
Yeah, exactly right. You want to slide over to TCB?
So he starts off with, here's a great article that goes into how anime, at least Crunchyroll's vision, looks towards, or is looking towards the future, right? Attention spans getting smaller. Long form discussion about complicated anime topics are dying a death. Studios and committees looking to make money without the middleman. The advent of how AI implementation in anime, the sheer amount of content we get than ever before, starting to feel like a detriment to anime production. Give them a first episode of both Bebop and Solo Leveling and see which one they'd be more in tune to watching the next of LOL. Easiest answer would be Demon Slayer. Probably the most entry-level modern anime to get newbies into. Honestly, everyone has different taste. Someone may be into Bebop more for its space western aesthetic, pacing, and action that certain Western produced shows also have.
See, and again, leaning more towards the conversation of what would be a good first anime for somebody. That wasn't the topic. And then he said, give them both the first episode of Bebop and Solo Leveling. The point is the short attention spans. Giving somebody two different shows
out of 60.
That's 40 minutes. That's 40 minutes that they would have to try to watch to grab their attention. When again, we're having a tough time getting 3 minutes of their attention, let alone 40. You know what I'm saying? Of two different shows where you don't even really get to see what's happening. Again, it's about the attention span. It's about what you said earlier about, you know, the long form discussions about complicated anime are dying a death. Again, the conversation isn't about what would be a good first. I know people tastes are different. Everybody tastes different. A random person on the street, I still think you could say, let me show you what anime is. Give them a show. It don't matter what it is. It don't matter what their interests are. That'll grab them. That's it. That's just one grab. Just one little tuck and grab. Like, now, did you like what you saw in that? And then we can go into different genres and what's your taste and what's your, you know, blah, 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 aesthetics, all that nonsense. Like, we could go into that after they get that one taste of what anime is. I'm talking to my dad, or I'm talking to my grandmother or my mom, who has no clue about any of this is. Would it grab them? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Are we making sense there?
It does, but even for all those people, probably except for dad, I feel like it'd be hard. It's easy for me to get my dad in the anime.
Well, you know what it is already.
Right. My
mom has no, when I say anime shit, I don't know what the fuck. What is that?
She's like, that's the cartoons you be talking about. Like, okay.
My mom don't even know that much. She's like, listen, I don't know what this is. I have no idea what y'all be talking about, but I'm here to support you. I'm like, thanks, right. Mom. I appreciate that. I don't even think my mom knew it was a cartoon until literally probably a few months ago. When I was on, she's like, what's that thing you want to tell? Do I be trying to tell people to listen to it? Oh, because my cousin, she's actually into it, and she's like, she asked her what is anime, and it's like, I be seeing Tashi talk about that all the time.
Bro said my cousin, knowing he got 50 of them.
Well, yeah, you know, that's why I didn't say a name. But she like, I be trying to tell people about what y'all do. Like, Ma, you can't tell everybody in your circle what I do. They ain't gonna get it.
They have no idea.
They have no clue. Anyway, I digress.
But one of the comments I see here is Fear saying we're losing the plot, and that is part of it, right? And he says that in conversation to here's the article that TCB shared, right? We are losing the plot, and that is a fact. It's not that we're losing the plot in the sense of like, is anime good? Anime is good.
Facts.
There's a ton of good anime. But you also introduced that aspect that the world is getting more and more fast paced as we progress. AI implementation is going to make the world more and more fast paced. Everyone's always going to be busy. I'm literally doing 3-4 hour classes a week, 4-hour labs in between those, with my kids and stuff like that, being a husband, all kind of stuff, right? My time goes fast, bro.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm going to want to watch something that has a hook to it, but the reality is that we really just don't have time management, and that's what the losing the plot really is. People don't have time management. Would I have been able to watch 25 episodes of Log Horizon in the time span that I did had my time management been absolute garbage? No. People don't plan their lives, and they don't plan to rest either. They don't plan to take time and set it aside to actually enjoy things. Thus, they feel like they're always on the move, and we end up losing the plot. And that's what I think a lot of it is. That's why we have to get something that grabs you, because if you don't have something that just grabs you and forces you to sit down, you're not going to do it because you feel like you must be doing something immediately all the time, right?
I'm gonna need you to win a season of Flyer Mile so I can make this tell 'em sound, because that is just a perfect opportunity for me to drop the tell 'em button. You be telling them, man. I be trying to tell them. But you told him extremely well. Like, It's so well said, man. It's so well said. I just want everybody that's listening right now. If you have an iPhone, if you don't have an iPhone, I guess you can't partake. I guess you could, but I don't know how Android works. Maybe you'll figure it out. But I just want you to open your phone, go to your main homepage, and scroll over to the right once, and then scroll down a little bit and look at your usage. Oops, forgive me. That's Kendrick Lamar playing. YouTube, don't hurt me, because I always listen to Kendrick Lamar. Anyway, and just scroll over and look at the usage. What app do you use the most of during the week? This is for everybody. This isn't just for Tel. This isn't for me. I just want to just look at this and say, damn, this is from my example. I spent 3 hours on YouTube. That 3 hours could have been going to watching roughly 7 episodes of an anime.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So this is throughout the week, by the way. I want to make
my phone doesn't track my activity that way because I have it turned off. But I can guarantee you, I have watched far more than 3 hours of YouTube.
You know what I'm saying? More. It's like I got what is this? I got an hour of TikTok. That could have been
3 hours YouTube for the day, right?
No, this is for a week.
Oh my God, yeah, I got way more hours of YouTube than 3 hours.
Oh wait, no, that was today. that was
okay,
today.
I was gonna say because I did more than 3 hours today alone. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that was today. My bad. I did some manual reading so that my internet browser is up there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I did an hour of TikTok and 3 hours of YouTube. That could have been which it was. I finished all my anime and I just kind of laid down and listened. Most of the time I listen to YouTube to fall asleep, so it's kind of skewed as well. Yeah. Because I have to listen to something when I go to sleep. But,
I feel you, bro.
But you know, there's ways you can find time. But again, because of these phones, man, time is it just feels like it's going fast, even though we have plenty of it. I think we have plenty of it. We just don't utilize it properly.
We don't have that time management, bro.
Mm-hmm. Because again, we're losing the plot. Anyway, let's go. Let's continue. All right. I guess we can. No, let's go to Frozen. My guy Frozen. He joined us on the Long Horizon Rewatch. He has some things to say that we're going to add in that section of the show. But Patreon producer of ours, a good friend of ours, he says, great discussion on what you would recommend to get somebody into the genre of anime. I feel like action-packed anime like Solo Leveling is a good way to pique the interest of most people than introducing them to an anime with better stories. Then introducing them to an anime with better stories will keep them interested into the genre. That's exactly my point. I think Frozen has been the only one so far to understand what we were getting at with that conversation. It's crazy that every time I introduce a girl that I was dating to an anime, it was always shown and that caught their attention. You see what I'm saying? It's something that again with the younger millennials and the Gen Zers is what the topic is more so about, not us old folks, older millennials, not us older folks that are trying to catch their attention. I would say probably the shonen would be the easiest way to do that. Solo Leveling, Demon Slayer, blah, 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 blah. Again, just one episode of it. It ain't got to be the entire series, just so they understand what this is, and then we can throw other stuff at them. Fear says, is that your go-to? I'm like, and he mentioned Steins Gate. Steins Gate is I think, again, for the conversation that we had, is a terrible one.
Yeah.
It just won't work. Again, if you're working into somebody who's interested in anime and they say, I like anime, what should I watch? Then Steins Gate would probably be a good one. But for the purposes of the conversation that we had, that would be a bad one. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Everything else is just kind of like, I think All For One Matt has a good one. He says the one I would usually recommend, again, this is going back to the conversation of a first anime, but I think could be a good one, is Kaiju number 8. I think maybe that first episode would be enough. Maybe. I don't remember. Did he get his situation in the first episode?
Yeah. There was intrigue in the first episode.
Okay. I think that would be a good one. What you think? You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember the first episode too much.
Yeah, but that's because we had a lot to watch. You know what I mean? If we were new to anime, if that was our very first introduction, I think we would actually remember, because I feel like they had they were fighting, and they had a monster invasion, and he ended up covered in monster guts, cleaning it up and all that stuff. We didn't even, I don't think he got his powers yet, but we did get an introduction to the craziness of the world. I
don't know if that's hooky enough, but
oh, bro, I think it'll be hooky enough for a newcomer
that don't know what anime is. Probably.
I would even say something like Hell's Paradise, like you said before, could be intriguing enough in the first episode to be like, okay, I can mess with this.
Yeah, and then I probably would, if I get them to get into that first episode of Hell's Paradise, I'll probably have to take them somewhere else. If they're like, I think I like anime. After that first episode, I'll go somewhere else. Like, okay, well, come over here with me real quick. Like, and then I will go with what Fear would recommended, one that I think is perfect. That'd be a perfect blend of slice of life and intrigue, is Erased.
Yeah, and to be fair, Erased is the first one that I got my wife to watch. It's the very first anime I got my wife to watch, and she has been in love with, like, she's rewatched Erased by herself. I ain't even been in the room. She's like, I'm watching Erased.
See, that's a good one. That's a real good one. All right. Let's try to move on to the next topic, because we spent 36 minutes here. All right. To go to the rewatch of Log Horizon.
Yeah.
This is your first time watching it, right?
Yep.
Which is fantastic. This is going to be great. A great conversation. Again, we're not going to spoil season 1. So, Robson, I know you haven't watched it yet. I know a few people haven't watched Log Horizon yet. This will determine on if you should or not by our conversation that we are having right here. So, what did you think about Log Horizon season 1?
Man. It has everything I like about anime. Everything. It was easy to watch, easy to digest. And the thing is I'm not sure how it would be for everybody, because I could see people getting lost. I could.
Interesting, really.
But I don't think it's that difficult to understand. You know what I mean?
Go back to them getting lost. Why?
Because there's the, like, and it's late in the show, but like the governmental understanding of things.
Okay.
Which I think is straightforward. I think they do it straightforward enough. But I could see someone being like, that's not even, why would I care about government and politics and bringing that to, because it's not necessarily politics, but it's the way that it is contrived and put together, and then said, like, we need to do this to establish a place within the world. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And prepare for future defenses. I think the way they did it was extremely well and extremely progressive for how it transitioned into the story.
Oh my God, I was blown back. I'm not gonna hold you.
That's what I said. I ain't never watched it. So for me, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And then I was like predicting what's going to happen and why this is a thing. And then he said the specific thing. I was like, I was right. I was like, so there is kind of like this misunderstanding throughout the world. The show just has a lot in it, and I feel like there are details that are easy to miss if you're just not actually paying attention. There is a lot of dialogue, a lot of conversation, a lot of world building. If you're not ready for that, I can see that being hard to digest. But man, I enjoyed the show. I was tuned in, bro.
I was tuned in too. I spent my entire, and unfortunately, I meant to hit up till Thursday to do After Story, but I'm like, I gotta finish this show. And I just sat all of Thursday and watched all of it, because by the time you said I watched 5 episodes, I'm like, oh shit, let me get going. And I started that Thursday, and I just did not put it down. My wife is like, yeah, just make sure you finish it. Get it. Like, just watch it.
You started Thursday. Come on,
I started Thursday. Well, I had watched when I messaged in Discord, because you was the first person to message. You said 5 episodes deep on the 4th, which was 2 days after we recorded. And I'm like, damn, I just finished one. And then on that Thursday, that's when I'm like, okay, let me sit down and just knock it all out. No Monster Hunter, nothing.
After we recorded, I went to sleep, right? I woke up at like 3:20. I've been waking up at 3:20 every day this week. I watched 3 episodes of Soul Leveling that first night. It was Monday morning. Yeah, Log Horizon. I'm sorry. I watched 3 episodes of Log Horizon that night, 3:20 in the morning before I got up to work out, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm here.
It has that 3 episode hook.
My spot.
It does have that. Frozen hit us up on the 5th, the following day. After Tell said he watched 5, it said rewatch started currently on episode 3, and then he says I forgot how much of a newbie Akatsuki was at the beginning compared to the other main characters. I'm not gonna go into too many details with that, but yeah, it was.
I love Akatsuki.
Yeah,
I love Toya. Is it Toyo? I love Toyo and his sister.
Miori.
Oh my god, Miori! I love them.
Akatsuki was our eyes into that world, right? Everything was explained to her to basically convey to us what the game was like before the apocalypse happened, which was so well told. That's that's all I'm gonna say to that, because I'm not gonna go into any spoilers. But bruh, it's just so much. What you said was right. The dialogue. Now,
Wendell House Code. He was probably my favorite character progression, and his whole.
They got it all. They have it all. Everything. This show has it all. Like truly has it all. As far as, again, I'm mostly save my thoughts for the review because we still do have 2 more seasons to go. But the pacing was astonishingly good. Like from moment to moment, episode to episode. Like we're like. I guess arc to arc is what I mean. Like the way it transitions to each arc was so effortless that it free flows so naturally. You could tell when it was a new arc, but it also just flowed in so nicely. It was just so fucking good.
I almost went into season 2. Because like watching, the way it ended, I was like, bruh. I was salty, but then I was like, well, season 2 is already there, and I almost let it play. I let like the first 5 seconds of it play, and I was like, come on, man.
I stopped too. I'm like, I can't do it.
I need to go ahead and watch it, but you already know what it is.
Yeah, but we're watching it again from this perspective, right? Like I watched it during the podcast, but I didn't, because I knew we wasn't talking about it. I just watched it for my own personal sake. And then watching it from a light of looking at it from a future review point, I'm like, this show has a lot of shit in it that even I, after watching it 2 or 3 other times, missed. And it was, it's so crazy. Like you said, the dialogue and the exposition. I'm gonna go with Frozen said. Frozen said, because he said rewatch done yesterday. And he said, I said, what you feeling? He says, just reminded that Shiro may be one of my favorite MCs. I have an affinity for the intelligent character who solves problems through wit and strategy. Shiro is the perfect example of that. Log Horizon is such an easy watch. I like the ensemble cast of characters, their dynamics, and I love how lore heavy the show is. This is well said.
The thing is, though, is that Shiro is fucking amazing. But I'm telling you, the world is its own character. The complexity of how things work within the show, the way in which we figure things out constantly in the show. We're constantly told things that make sense, constantly told things that weave together. There's even like in MMOs you get to cook. You know what I mean? You get to make your own food, like in Monster Hunter. Yeah. Like that how you break these things down and how they even make sense in the future. It's the skill building and everything. Like it all makes sense. And even the show just it like hands you the concept from the beginning, but it's like building on that same concept and evolving it all the way through.
Bruh, it's perfect for somebody who's never played an MMO. I.e. Frozen, he's mentioned in the Discord, but he only mentioned playing New World, which as an MMO, it has nothing on what MMOs are, right? Because New World is consensually the perfect example of what what's the word I'm looking for? Conformism is, I guess. They're just trying to capture
Bare bones.
very surface level. They're just trying to capture the new player, right? They're not going for the classic MMO, fantasy style that Log Horizon is, but it does explain in great detail perfectly what MMO is, from the combat to cooldowns. When they was talking about cooldowns and recovery time, they explain all of that so you understand during the show when somebody's doing something and they say the cooldown is almost done. You understand what that means because they explain it to you in such detail. I think
past time.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm gonna throw this out there. If Crystal had time to watch it, she'll love it because she likes sword art. But I think this is a whole different beast.
Mm-hmm.
A whole different beast. It's so different. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, this came out in 2013. How crazy is that?
It had this. It did a nice thing of adding gravity while still having levity at the same time. You know what I mean? It was funny, but situations were serious. Mm-hmm. They were scary, but then it's still lighthearted. And the relationship between characters provided this almost like comfort food while still being worried for their well-being.
Dude, even the feel of it being an MMO. Like, cause you think about it, when you watch an anime and they have an ensemble of characters, I'm talking 20 plus characters you gotta know eventually. This feels like an MMO. This feels like a massively multiplayer online game.
I hate that we're not spoiling this right now.
I know, dude. It's so hard to.
Because I want to talk about this specific topic.
You want to save it? You want to switch out solo leveling and make this the last thing we talk about today? Oh, spoiler talk.
It's really just one part I want to talk about. Because it's really just one part I want to talk about. It's got to do with
a lot of parts. There's a lot of parts I want to talk about.
We can do that, bro.
Let's alleviate solo leveling.
It's a touch.
Yeah, it's a touch. I'm going to do a touch of solo leveling and then we're going to spoil Log Horizon Season 1. Brilliant. Just brilliant. Okay. All right, Tel. All right, now. God damn it. Do you recommend Season 1 of Log Horizon?
I mean, I can't keep it for myself, so yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I can't. And maybe it's just my bias talking. This is one for everybody. This is such a fucking great show. Great casting characters. Like you said, the levity and the gravity is there. And it looks like it's only looking to expand from there with the second season. You know, I know, but Tel don't know yet. Maybe it is, maybe it doesn't. But
it is, maybe it doesn't. Whatever.
I'm looking forward to that conversation. I'm probably still gonna be able to watch season 2 in Fire Force. I don't know if Tel will be able to. We'll find that out as we go.
Technically, I'm on spring break, but I do still have classwork to do.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like 50 episodes basically in a week is a lot. I.e., I did it before with One Piece, but again, those episodes are technically like 11 minutes a piece. So it's a big difference. Last thing I'm gonna say, love this. The intro feels 2013. Love it. The outro, the way again it does what Zenshu does, and it just kind of feeds into the end of the episode. So brilliantly mixed and beautifully done. I just love that. It was ahead of its time with those two things essentially. And that's it. Yes, I recommend Log Horizon Season 1. Season 2 next week if we could watch both that and Fire Force. Prioritize Fire Force first. Okay. Let's get to know Mic Check White Food before we go into the spoilers, Tel.
Random number generator.
My turn to read the question. This is part of the podcast where one of us rolls a number and I read the question associated with that number, and you get to know us a little bit better. Anime related questions per usual. What you got?
39.
39. Funny. Do you listen to anime podcasts or watch YouTube channel about anime? I don't listen to podcasts. I do visit Anime Wise podcast every once in a while. See what they talking about.
I do listen to Wonder of Ivy once in a while.
Yep. Wonder of Ivy.
I do listen to
Dad Needs to Talk. I listen to
Dad Needs to Talk. Yep.
Kez isn't really it's more of a. He does culture. It's more of a cultural anime. It's more of a cultural podcast. I do listen to that from time to time too. But anime straight. Like I don't listen to trash talk or what's another one? I don't know. But there's a YouTube channel I watch almost every week. I have to watch, and it's Annie News. Annie News is fucking incredible. He does like breakdown videos of like Solo Leveling, ReZero, of what was missed in the light novel specifically. Like I never read a light novel. I only read light novel I've read was volume 1 and 2 because I have them over here of ReZero. That was the only light novels I've ever read. Not that much of a fan of them because I just don't get that same feeling that I do with manga or manhwa or danhwa or whatever. But it's any news that clears up stuff that you may have missed is a great YouTube channel for that. So make sure you check him out for sure. He's a great YouTube channel.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna take this quick break, and when we come back, we're going to spoil Honey Lemon Soda, Zenshu, and Log Horizon Season 1. Like it's new. We'll be right back after this. And welcome back to Mic Check Waifu 292. What we gonna do with you? All right. Anyway,
Polo with the bars. He a rapper now.
Let's talk about Honey Lemon Soda, the best show this season for sure. Best new show because of ReZero's right there, but the best new show. This episode sparked a very large discussion in Discord. Because of it was just crazy. It was just such a crazy episode, but it was basically the turning point episode, essentially, of Honey Lemon Soda, right?
Yeah, bro.
Like her father being as overbearing as he is, seeing the situation that she's in, doing what he did with almost removing her from the high school, actually meeting her friends while everything is starting to go good, and basically turning her life upside down.
Right. So the conflict that I feel is that it's kind of her fault.
100% her fault, I think.
Well, so here's the thing though, right? It's kind of her fault, but there's also the overbearing parent, right? There's this like philosophy that every generation of kids are going to complain about their parents doing something, and this generation is going to be overbearing parents because we don't want our kids having to go through a lot of things that past generation went through. Literally, that's what she's going through, is overbearing parents. Her parents care about every little thing she does. They want to nitpick and pay attention to everything she does. They're always looking at her, seeing what's going on. So unintentionally, well, inadvertently, she's like, I don't want my parents to worry about everything I'm going through. And while being overbearing, they're trying to create a safe space for her, but they're not creating a space for her to actually tell them when something's wrong, because they are overbearing. The gravity of what they're doing is just too much. So if she is getting bullied in middle school, she can't just say, hey, I'm being bullied in middle school to them, because they're going to be even more overbearing. And she just doesn't say anything. But had she had the confidence to do that, she would have already been in a better place.
This is everything you said I agree with, but this is like one of those 97.6% agreement things, right? And that little percentage that I don't agree with is the fact that, yes, it's her overbearing parents' fault. Again, this goes back to the common sense, but she is a kid, right? Like, she doesn't understand that you could have these conversations with your parents, and it'll have come to a whole different understanding of who you are as a person. And if you just tell them, like, look, this is the situation. She can't do that. She's a kid. These are her parents. That's the part I need to wrap my head around. But it totally is her fault for not telling her parents she's been bullied in school. Because to him, she went to this prestigious all-girl junior high school that was flowers, sunshine, and rainbow. She came home, Dad, I had a wonderful day. Dad, I had a good time with my friends. Dad, blah, 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 blah. So he's like, I'm doing good for my daughter. My daughter is doing great. I'm so proud of her. She's my little sweetheart. She's such a good girl. And then from when she was a child, everybody's like, she's so well behaved. You're doing such a good job with her. Right. That's my Yuka. So it's like, while yes, he is overbearing, but it is kind of her fault for setting up not only herself, but them with the pressure of maintaining this little sweet girl's innocence that she portrayed this whole time. I had a conversation with Crystal, and it was more so the Crystal and All For One Matt, because All For One Matt, I'm gonna just kind of go through the thread here if you would allow me to. He says,
of course, brother, her
dad is on my shit list from now on, shaking my head. So definitely the best episode of the show this week. And then Crystal said, I lost track of the amount of times I cursed that man out through my TV. I was so angry. I feel you. He was being so unreasonable, All For One Matt replies. Then I say, look at it from his side a little bit, though. He had no idea she was suffering alone like that. Just thought that his little girl was getting roped into a mess with a bunch of badasses after doing so good. And according to what he saw and what she didn't tell him, she got along at this prestigious junior high school. So to him, it's like a major trend downward. So you mean to tell me, like, she's going to this prestigious school, having a great time, and then all of a sudden she accidentally turns in this blank paper. Now she got to go to the school that was known for delinquency, not even just with other students, but parents, teachers, etc., just known for people to be these eccentric people. And he sees her coming out of a karaoke bar with a blonde hair guy, a pink haired girl with earrings. And remember, this is Japan. You also have to remember this is Japan. So all of this stuff is crazy to them, like unheard of, obscene. So he's seeing all this and like, what the fuck is going on? And then All for One Matt says, you do make a valid point. I still don't like the way he responded when she said she didn't want to leave. Like, yeah, but from his perspective, she's being influenced by delinquents, something she's never seen before. But we know that's not the case. And
he thinks he's protecting her.
And he thinks exactly right.
And I can liken it to the fact that if my mom knew how many fights I got into while getting straight A's, she'd be like, what's going on here? But that's the reality, is that he's not able to see what she's experiencing because she is hiding it behind her excellence, her smile, her intelligence. She is hiding it behind all of that, and she's in school. The people who are actually on her level can see it plain as day. Mm-hmm. They can see plain as day that, this ain't what it really is. And he is not involved in her actual day-to-day school life because he's a parent. He's got to go to work and stuff that he can't actually see without her being vulnerable enough to be like, look, Dad, I'm having a crappy time at school. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's trash there.
And now that she's at this new school and meeting all these people who are valuable to her, who helped her get through the certain terrible things, and that these are people who legitimately love who Yuga is, but he sees it from the outside looking in. The conversation continues, if you don't mind me. Crystal says, you're not wrong at all. However, it could have been handled differently. That's my big issue, is how he disrespected those kids was uncalled for. But again, it's the perspective. Exactly. I don't think she had it's the perspective part in there, bro, when I was responding, so I didn't see this part. So forgive me, Crystal, because I kind of went on a little long one. But I'm like, that's our biases, though. Think about it like this. Your little sister is a great student in school, never even showed up late once. But then you see her out there with people you perceive to be tyrants, or as the kids say, YNs. What would you think of them? That's why this show is so well written, though. I'm not saying that it's right, and I can see why he's but I can see why he's so strong against it and upset. It's all about what the fuck did I type there? About it all, even though I can see why he's upset about it, even though they'll make for a worse kid growing up. All she gonna do is be sneaky. Mm-hmm. And like he still went too far, regardless of these misunderstandings and perceptions and assumptions that the father made. I understand why he did lash out a little bit, but again, from his perspective, it just looked crazy. It has to look crazy to see her coming out of that karaoke bar with these what is perceived to be delinquents. And
to his benefit, right? American parents are a lot less conservative than Japanese parents are what they are described to be. So if you normally get this idea that Japanese parents are extremely conservative, extremely strict and whatnot, right? Especially in like what his field seems to be, right? He seems like the stereotypical Japanese parent that we would get. Thus, him being a little bit more strict and demanding is huge. We understand that. But we also get the idea that once he actually gets told what's happened and what he missed, he went around and said, I apologize.
Yes.
He bowed to those children.
And that was huge.
He bowed to those children and said, I apologize. I did not know the situation here.
So that's why, like, is he really that bad? As Crystal and All for One Matt say, no. I'm gonna say no, because
I think he's bad. I'm gonna say he's bad because these are children that he did not know, and as a child, your place is to talk to an adult, talk to those children's parents.
Well, he did, and they said that she was being bullied.
So I mean, he taught. Well, yeah, I guess that's,
you know what I'm saying. Like that, he had a whole conversation with the school where he was like, "I've been told that these people have been bullying you, so no, I'm not about to keep you here." Blah blah blah. You getting roped in, you getting forced to, you getting, you know what I'm saying. So like in his situation, he doesn't have the whole story. Yes, you can't say he's bad. Like is he overbearing parents and is that good? No. Absolutely not. I would never condone that. I think that's a terrible way of raising kids. It's an awful idea of raising kids because that's just going to make them worse, essentially.
Exactly.
But in the sense of the situation that occurred within this particular situation, he's not a bad parent. I think he did
flexibility was good.
Yeah, I think he did what was essentially right until the situation called for what to be perceived as corrected, right? Like these kids came up to him and said, listen, even the bully was there. Even Blondie went and go grab the bully like, yo, you need to explain to her dad like what happened when she was younger. Because once he understand that, then he'll understand that what the fuck have I been missing? She's been suffering with this all alone by herself. And it showed when he got emotional.
If kids actually did problem solving like this in real life,
oh my God,
it would be crazy. Kids don't problem solve like this.
Life would be so much easier.
Ain't no way kids problem solve like this. That was crazy problem solving. That was clearly an adult wrote this story.
Yeah, 100%. It's such great writing though because of and it even goes back to Kristen Noir for one map. The conversation that we're having right now with our community, with these folks in our community, proves that the writing is spectacular. Because I'm over here like, damn, why does it seem like I'm defending him so hard? I'm not necessarily defending his actions, but I understand them. You know what I'm saying? Was he disrespectful to the kids who look disrespectful? Yeah, I would probably be too. Like, you little bastards, like get away from my little girls. Stop bullying my little girl. I'll talk shit too. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't mess with bullies. You know what I'm saying? And to his perspective, they were bullies. So right. I get it. So I find it to be such a great show, such a breath of fresh air watching it that I'm just enthralled every time an episode comes out.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's got this nice duality to it where we finally gotten to the point where yes, she still has this sense of insecurity, but she's finding her security. You know what I mean? She's getting there.
Yeah.
And she's finding herself. She's finding her voice. And her voice, I think it's really starting to pick up because now she can tell her parents what she's experiencing.
Yes.
That's a huge step for some people who cannot tell their parents exactly what they're experiencing.
Yep. And she was basically a caged bird at 5 p.m. every day, which is crazy. Having a curfew at 5, you know how many times we've been out in high school, middle school.
I'm telling you, I was just telling my wife, once I got my car, I didn't even have a curfew.
Dog, I never had a curfew ever in my life, not once. Well, maybe when I was in like middle school or elementary school.
I was 15 and a half. My mom was like, you can drive, come home safely.
Yep.
I was like, okay, bet.
Bro, it was such long nights. And then my last 2 years of high school was even worse because I was out to God knows how long, 4 o'clock in the morning walking through the door. Anyway, yeah, great stuff, man. Great stuff. Honey, let me sell it. Now, Zenshu, this show took a turn that I was not expecting.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect, bro.
I know. I thought I was ready. I thought it was just going to be like a shorter, smaller conversation, but no, this is. I
thought we was cooking.
Yeah, this is bigger than that.
And it's like I still kind of think the idea you had set forth could be a little bit more accurate, where the idea that she is unconscious, so to speak, I do think that could still be a thing. But the way that the world is kind of devolving with her actions is crazy. And it could still be symbolism. It could be the symbolism of her not taking action when she needs to. And it's causing that problem.
That's the bigger
lesson, be the symbolism of her adding to the story, but not adding what needs to be added, not adding with intention of actually evolving the story, because this is a story she knows.
Yeah.
She knows the story, but the things that she's adding are not canon, are not meshing with the world, are not meshing with the story. And I almost think that adding to what you said, it could be adding that blowback. It could be adding worse repercussions because she's not doing what technically needs to be done. She's adding changes that are changing the world too drastically. But man, this show is beautiful. The tears that we get in this episode.
That ending, bro, the look on Luke's face.
Crazy, man. He looks broken.
Yeah. It's like even worse than what the movie was. Does that technically make for a better movie?
I'm not sure.
Because the movie wasn't well received. We know that. It's, oh God, it's so good. It's so good. Rob Stone says on Zenshu, that is a great theory. I think the point on her perfectionism and refusing to make/adapt to mistakes is the thing that she needs to overcome, and it's coming back to bite her. It's coming back to bite her here. I don't know if it'll end with her saving anyone. I can't see a way to save, e.g. Luke, without completely changing the story, rather than your point about building onto it. But maybe rather than it ending with him falling to despair and wiping out humanity, it could be Luke dying while saving her for a more bittersweet ending. It'll be fun to see how it goes either way. Well,
and I'm even getting to the point to where slight gut check. I'm feeling like Luke is the ultimate void.
Yeah, they said he was. That's how the movie ends. The movie ends with him becoming the ultimate void. So he's going to become the ultimate void either way. Right now.
But I feel like they just progressed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This specific scenario progressed it so heavily that I'm just like, oh my God, my heart.
If you notice, everything in the movie that happened is happening right now within within these minutes, right? Everything that was backed up was all the way backed up until now has finally been foreseen. Like, this is exactly how the movie went, but except it wasn't her. It wasn't what's her name? Destiny? What's that girl's? No, Destiny is the
you know, like the muscular girl.
Yeah. It was her. Instead of her saving a little kid, it was Natsuko. And now she's eaten with the unicorn thing. I don't remember their names. And basically wiped out.
Her name is Destiny, I think.
Oh, is it?
It's Destiny.
Damn. Yeah. Okay. You go, Polo.
Right. But I would also like to say, I'm looking at this score still. I feel like this show is going to have one of the best endings we've seen in a while.
100%. I was thinking that same thing.
I just feel like the ending that this is like leading to, I have no idea, like,
can't be predicted
100% what it is yet. But whatever it is going to be, I'm already tuned in for it. Like, I am already very pleased and satisfied with whatever this ending is going to be.
Isn't this one of the most unique stories?
It's crazy. It is. Like, it is. Yes.
It's so good. Like, just from the whole concept of everything in it is so very unique to itself that I'm thoroughly enthralled with what it is. And I didn't think I would. Like, it even has a hint of Magical Girl with the whole transformation of the death, and the song and everything. But it's so different, so unique in that aspect that is unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
But there's the impending doom, the despair, the creativity, the wanderlust of it. It has so many different levels and varieties of what it's presenting. It is, yes, it's very whimsical, but also what we got out of Luke, like you said, in those last moments was dark, bro.
Yeah. The fact that this is based off of a movie without a happy ending, and throughout it we're trying to change new whatever the pegboard says, new things must be drawn or whatever, to basically change it to become a happy ending, to it reverting to becoming an absolute disaster, 10 times worse than what the original source material is. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. It's so good.
Imagine the story's like, hold up, let me hold my pen.
Hold my pen.
Let me get this out. Let me get my quill. I'm about to go ahead and fuck this up because you is not getting the ending you want. It's crazy, man.
It's insane. What, as an artist, because you're an artist, what will possess an artist to create a story like A Tale of Perishing? I guess it's the title itself kind of explains that. But
I mean, the thing is that I mean,
in your opinion, I guess,
like, from my perspective, it would be that the fact that everything isn't a happy ending, right? Is to be contrary to what people actually like. A lot of people, they want something that makes them feel inspired in the end. And let's be real, sometimes seeing something end in doom can also be inspiring to not follow in those footsteps. And what makes Zenshu specifically that kind of really cool twist on it is that we are seeing Natsuko live in her mistakes. She's living in her mistakes. So she's literally in a story without a happy ending, writing her mistakes and necessarily not even creating that happy ending, hoping to get to that happy ending. And even if this doesn't end with a happy ending, I think I would still be satisfied with it, because it's like she is learning in these mistakes. But man, I kind of feel like that's what it is that it's the idea of everything's not going to be perfect for even the most perfect of people or the best of people. You know what I mean? Yeah. She is this world-renowned or this well-renowned mangaka. But let's be real, you're in a slump right now.
Right. And to piggyback off of that, I feel like her going into a tale of perishing is rewriting it, experiencing these emotions of overconfidence, to needing to be creative when she has to create something new every time she draws, to then needing to be quick, and also discovering love, but is all the goal of what her in this I'm gonna call it a coma. I'm still gonna predict that it's a coma. That she needs to wrap her head around to be able to overcome the slump that she's in, essentially, and basically be able to get back to work and on her own project, which unbelievable. A unique way of just telling that story in itself. Like, even if it just ends now and it's over, I still find it to be really, really tight and concise and brilliant and just well done.
Yeah.
Now, as for what you said, as far as what will make a creator create something like a tale of perishing, it spoke to me. It's just to show the contrarian side of tales don't always have to have happy-go-lucky endings. And even that conversation she had with Little Miss Yoda was like, it is what it is, but we got to give them hope. They're just hope. It's the fucking movie about hope.
Yeah, but like I said, it's also that beauty, and maybe she in the end comes to the consensus that it doesn't have to be a happy ending to be a good ending.
Well, I think she knows that because this is her favorite movie of all time. You know, like why would it be your favorite movie of all time if you didn't understand that concept?
Right.
Like, I don't know. Still so good. We got to have a ReZero talk next week though, because it's just been too many great episodes. Especially, I'm gonna just touch on. It was a fantastic episode. The animation was a step above what they've done in the past up until now.
It wasn't even the animation that got me. It was the sound design. Yeah,
they fucking popped off with both, to be honest. It was incredible, insatiable. But let's talk about. So let me give you the thing in Solo Leveling real quick. Slight spoilers for this, but they cut out something that I remember without even, because the any news video didn't even come out for this episode this week yet. But they cut out the part where Jin Woo fucking basically almost demolished that Japan dude, that guild leader dude, and he almost shit his pants. Why was that gone? I'm like, wait, what? I had to flip back to the manhwa and read that part again. I'm like, well, why didn't they? But then again, I remember they're going up against Japan, and the beef that Korea and Japan has is forever. So, like,
they don't want to make it seem like they actually beefing
on Japan.
They want to put it on good terms.
Yeah. which is it's driving me crazy because that part I was waiting for that part. That part, even when we read it, was a part that stuck out to me that I remember being so fucking cool. So fucking cool of when he's like when he's fighting them and then the dude shows off his aura or whatever, and then Jinwoo senses that, and Jinwoo's like he gets that smile kind of like at the end of Log Horizon, that big ass black grin. Right. And then he fucking releases his and he's about to go in at him. Yeah. And at the end, the dude's he's fucking sweat dripping down his face. Shit was so cool. It was so fucking cool in the manga. I was so excited for that part. I'm like, give me that part, and then it don't happen. I'm like, wait, what? Did I misunderstand that? So that's why I was in Brave. My time in Brave is a little high because I'm going through Solo. I'm like, did I miss that? Did they just not have that?
It's also a little irritating because we know Jinwoo is stronger than everybody in that room. Oh my gosh,
easily.
We know he can mop the floor with all of them if he decided to, right? Mm-hmm. And him by himself, okay, let's not say him by himself. But if he pulled out all the powers he has, all the abilities he has, all the goons he got,
you mean
that they didn't even sense that he attached to them?
You mean he almost S rank? I don't know, just one orc he got.
Like that's what I'm saying. He only needs one, and he wiping the floor with everybody. Yeah. So the thing is that Jinwoo could wipe all of them. And that's the only thing that threw me off, and I realized immediately that it was like, oh, they pulled some punches with this specifically from what we saw in the manhwa.
Yeah, because the dude had killing intent to kill Jinwoo when he released his aura, and then the system was like sensing it, and it was just like he got excited about it. He was so happy about it, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't wait to see that part, and it just didn't happen. I'm like, oh. That was one piece that I found that like a lot of stuff they cut out, they did cut out. And watching Andy News, he talks about it all the time. Like, this is the stuff that was missing. I understand why they cut out some of the stuff they do. Yeah, like you have to if you're trying to fit all of this inside of these 12 episodes, right? I get it. So they're pushing the important parts, which is more than good enough because they still got the pieces of the system that's important. They still got shit that is very, very deep into the overarching story that is Solo Leveling, while giving people those concise and beautiful fights. But that was the one that I was like looking forward to the most. But why would I even look forward to that when I know damn well they wouldn't do that to Japan, because they're Japan, and Japan's already fucking pissed off. Like, yo, they even got a whole nother sub version of Solo Leveling where there's Japanese names. Like, it's Sun Jinwoo is a Sun Jinwoo in Japan. Like, it's a whole separate sub just for Japan.
Oh my goodness,
it's insane. That whole beef just has to stop. I mean, I understand it. I guess
it's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen, unfortunately. But
the only reason they even animating this is because it's a cash grab.
Yeah, huge cash flow of money. They probably pissed off at how popular it is. All right, now Log Horizon. Things I wanted to spoil tell. Were you talking about the round table hold? The establishment of that?
Man, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about how in the beginning with the cathedral, how they set it up. The fact that you can die and you'll be reborn, right? Mm-hmm. Because the way they brought up the cathedral in the beginning, in like the first episode, was that
somebody died.
We don't specifically know how people die and if they'll come back now. And then somebody dies and it's like, okay, we'll go back to the cathedral like we did before. And then we build up the idea, like we get the like guild who's just out here slaughtering people. Mm-hmm. So, I'll send you back to the cathedral. I'll send you back to the cathedral. Every 5 seconds, I'll send you back to the cathedral. And it's like they're saying that, and I'm like, okay, so y'all just threatening to kill people over and over and over. And then we get further down in the story, and it's like, okay, wait, killing people could result in you losing your memory of your previous life. And I was like, so y'all just out here, y'all had no idea what y'all are subjecting people to. There's somebody in this world already who has forgotten their previous life. There has to be. Mm-hmm. Because there have been people who even if they were just training and just went out and died a bunch of times thinking there's no consequences.
Look at Krusty.
Completely forgot.
Krusty is a perfect example of that. He's the leader of DDD. They're a warrior guild. They always fighting. So of course he died a few times, and he realizing like, yo, I know I got a cat, but I don't know what it looks like or the name.
But he said he only died twice. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He said twice.
Yep.
I'm talking about there's somebody who's guaranteed die way more than Krusty because Krusty is strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel me?
Absolutely.
Krusty is strong. There's somebody level 20 who is a noob to the game, like Toya and his sister, Miori, who have died 10, 15, 20 times, who are children who literally now at this point are the same as the people of the land.
Damn, that's a crazy point to even think about.
The only thing they remember is this world.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but you're right. That's deep.
And I'm like, and hear me out, this is just my perception, and I could be entirely wrong, but I'm thinking like, does this show up in later episodes where there's someone who feels like they're just part of this land, who they're just part of this world because they've died so many times in just basic leveling or whatever, because they didn't know there was a consequence to begin with.
Right.
But yeah, there's so much in this world and in this show to talk about, bro.
Yeah, like so the way it transitioned from them, the people are the players coming in like, yo, what the fuck can we do? We don't want to go out there and fight, and there's no quest givers. So like, what are we doing here? Them just not having any sense of direction is so fucking cool. Now, hear me out when I make this comparison, but it's kind of Grimgar-esque, right? Mm-hmm. Because you think about the scenario in real life, yeah, you'll be excited at first. I'm in a game, I can do this, I can do that, blah, blah, blah. I just do my skills. But over time, weeks go by, months go by. What do? You're not getting quests. There's no reason to kill mobs. If you get gold, what are you going to buy? These nasty, still-ass crackers of food? Like, there's just so much, like, am I ever going to get out of here? There's so many anxieties and thoughts that I'm scared to go out there because PKers, even though getting sent to the cathedral at this point in time don't have any consequences, I don't want to die. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they still had the mental capacity to understand, like, this is like, we are fucked right now. And for Shiro to notice that and to realize, like, yo, we got to do something about this. We can't have these PK guilds starting these fucking rings and doing all this unruly shit in the world that we don't really have any rules other than not fighting in towns. So we got to come up with something. And I think the way that kind of smoothly transitioned from Shiro needing to go save Serura, and then it transitions into that arc where it's like, okay, the formation of the round table, and then it transitioned out of that to now the people of the land. The people of the land is like, yo, these adventures just showed up again. And then the whole explanation of the history behind that and how time worked in the real world versus this world.
Years.
Oh my God. It's all just so fucking good. And you know what, the one thing I missed when I watched this the first two times is I had no idea that we understood that with the whole time dilation, how in-game time works in the real world time, and how the history worked, that it was actually a spell casted that caused the apocalypse 3 times. The first time was the first time they entered the game. The second time was I don't remember what he said. It was some kind of update or something like that. And then the third time was now this time. So there's a whole bigger arc that I don't even know about because I haven't finished season 3. That is like huge. I'm like, yo, this show is great. I'm like, this show is so smooth with the interwovens of the history of it and the MMO pieces of it, and then the people of the land trying to establish what the adventurers are and what they're going to do and how strong they are, and if we can blah 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 blah. Like even the players know, like, we're outnumbered, so we will eventually lose, even though we're extremely stronger than them. Like, that whole concept, the whole lore behind it all is so good that it's just that captivating. It's as captivating as Overlord to me, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel that.
Yeah. The levels and variety to this show is ridiculous. Like I said, Randall House Cole. Yo, I fucking love that guy.
That was a good arc.
I love that guy. And at first I was like, yo, he is irritating. And I was like, they gotta have one. They gotta have one, right? They gotta have one that's irritating. But even in his like irritatingness, we see that he's trying. You know what I mean? He's really, really trying. And I admired that immediately. And then we get the moment where he's like dying.
That shit made me sad.
And we're like, okay, well, he's gonna go back to the cathedral, and they like trying to revive him. And I'm like, why y'all trying to revive him? He gonna go back to the cathedral. I get why you trying to revive him. You don't want him to lose his memory. But then they say, no, he's an NPC, and I'm like,
They said that even before they were trying to revive him, though.
I know, but I'm like, oh yeah, NPC.
When she could add him to the friends list, yeah.
I'm like, oh no. I'll be like, yo, he about to die. Like he can't come back from this. And
dude, the way they dropped that NPCs die, they're gone for good at the beginning of the show. For that to lead up to this was so well done.
And that's what even made it better, because we got the conversation with talking about the anima and everything like that beforehand. The anima, the psyche, and everything beforehand, and then before that we get the him scribing and trying to make spells, and they did everything so transitionally well. Yeah. To do this, I need the right kind of paper. I need the right kind of ink. Well, why are you trying to do that? Like, why does it matter? You've already got it here. You won't. No, I need the best stuff, because I'm testing theories here.
Yeah, because they figured out you can make a steam engine with your blacksmith skill, but you need the necessary real material to actually do it if you have the skill to. They learned you can make a steam engine by doing that. You can cook this. They learned this is how you cook food, and it all started with them learning how to cook food by actually doing it with the whole, without using a system. Oh, dude. And then he's like, okay, so well, maybe I can do this then. And then the guy mentioned, like, well, we learned that there's could be all kinds of spells that could be created in this world because of that. What a fucking crazy story this is. How good that shit is. Bro. It's all explained. Everything.
And to make Rundle House Code
be the catalyst for that.
Ooh. Make him an adventurer was fire. I was like, you know what?
But
amazing.
But think about it like this though. Now,
10 out of 10 moment.
Now hear me out though. What does that do for, I don't know, the next world level spell that they cast that sends everybody back? Where does Rundle House Code go? Does he revert to back being the person of the land? Does he die? Like what? You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't even thought about that until right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think as of right now, right, what makes it difficult to deal with is that we still don't have a clear understanding of what the full circumstance of the adventures are in. You know what I mean?
Well, we do.
We know that they're there, but we don't know if there is a way for them to go back necessarily. We know that they have magic that they can create. Yeah. We know they have avenues that they still need to explore, but we don't know what that looks like for them, right?
Yeah, we know that one of those races casted the spell that got them here, which is the expansion. Essentially, the expansion to the game that cast that spell that got them stuck there, that caused the apocalypse. But that's really all we know.
Right, but that is also just internal explanation for the code, right? For the system. Like, we don't know if this is like almost like Sword Art Online, where not specifically that same scenario happened, but let's say this is a glitch in the scenario where these people's brains are just stuck in here, or their psyche is separated from their bodies and it's stuck in here. We don't know what the full explanation for it is. So this could be, you know what I mean? Like this could be 5, 10, 20 minutes in real lifetime, but because how they explain time, you know what I mean? It could really be they've been in here for a year, but in real life, they've only been in here for an hour or so.
What if, like you just, and I don't remember season 2 that well. I do remember kind of season 2. I don't know any of season 3 really, but what if, like you said, have you ever played the game Soma?
No.
That's all about cyberpunk. We'll use cyberpunk then since that's more recent. Mm-hmm. Separating the psyche, digitizing the psyche. What if somehow when they launched the expansion, their psyche got digitized, but they're still them inside the real world. They still doing whatever they do in the real world as normal human beings, right? But just a piece of their psyche at the moment that they booted up the game, when it's digitized inside the game, and they're not even real anymore. Right. So what if this is just because it's so of their psyche, of their consciousness? That's what Soma is. Soma is like a dude copying his consciousness, and the fake him essentially is in slingshotted basically into a future where he's living the life of him, but it's not him at the same time, and you kind of wrestling with that whole concept. What if that's the case in Log Horizon?
Hey,
would that make this shit the best fucking written anime ever?
You spitting.
And I have no clue. I don't.
And
like, I remember season 2 a little bit.
And you know, to be crazier,
look,
the real version of you logs back into the game, and all of your memories of what you did while playing separated from the game come back to your real life.
Because when you die, you lose your memory of real life. Ooh. Sheesh.
Nah, this could be crazy.
That's gonna be insane. I know we gotta watch Fire Force. But shit, I really want to watch Log Horizon. I'm gonna try to watch both. Even if I gotta sacrifice something like this week's anime, maybe I'll only watch like 2 of the main things, ReZero, Apothecary Diaries, and just like the rest is Fire Force and Log Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
And well, it's Solo Leveling. I gotta watch Solo Leveling. Because of course, in Honey Limits, fuck, maybe not. This is tough. Oh, this is tough. But I say all that to say, I'm at Polo Borfly on all social media.
I'm at King Telliano on social media.
You can follow our social media at Mike Check Waifu on Blue Sky and everywhere else. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our twitch.tv/Mike Check Waifu. And as always, Mike Check.
Ooh.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?